All right, thank you for tuning in. You are listening to Your Journey with Andrew Love. And if you're watching this, you're probably watching this on YouTube, or you might listen to this on my podcast. So if you're any one of those, you can subscribe to the description, the link, or you can subscribe to my podcast. And so anyway, I have another special guest. She is a very divine spiritual lady. I met her years ago on a spiritual network, and I've been following her ever since. Her name is Victoria Vives, and she have came a long way in her journey in life, in spirituality, and she's very round-welded, well in many things such as martial arts, music, and so much. There's so much to this young woman, and she seems like she'll never get any older.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm amazed. I got her pictures and autographs, and she's a very good sweetheart lady. And Victoria, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, where you're from.
Yeah, so I was born in Spain, so that's where I grew up and I lived most of my life. And it is a very different culture. So I grew up being the only Black person, believe it or not. So until I was 14, I didn't have any friends that were like me. So I was the only Black in the neighborhood, which was kind of tough. So very different mentality. So when I moved here, everything was so different because this is like a melting pot. I live now in Los Angeles, so this was like starting a new life, and I'm so happy to live here. I love the US for sure. I started in healing in 2000, and this was after a near-death experience that I had in 1997. So right a year after, I had a Kundalini awakening and third eye opening. So I started seeing the world through different eyes, and it was so scary. And I didn't have a mentor or anything, but finally I found this metaphysics healing group. So I started practicing energy healing with the seven rays, the archangels, the ascended masters, and that helped me so much. So after that, I started making my own music, and I was so fortunate that I got to perform in the Olympic Games hymn candidacy and with one of my childhood idols. And then I also performed with another childhood idol my own songs in front of 10,000 people. So thanks to her, I came here to the US, to Los Angeles. And that's when I said, this is my home. This is my home. I want to live here. And then after that, in 2004, I finally came. And mostly I was doing martial arts very successfully. That's how a lot of people met me, through YouTube videos, martial arts fights and things like that. And then performing in Hollywood and other places. And after that, I changed completely from martial arts to healing arts. And in healing arts, I started teaching others because I feel that we really need support, love, healing, understanding our trauma, how we can move through it. And that's what I'm dedicating my life to empower others and inspire others.
All right, Victoria, I appreciate that. And I know I've talked to you a lot in the past, and I know when you came to America, you have went through a lot. And I know you have a book because it's called Seconds. What's it called?
In a matter
In
of
a matter of
seconds.
seconds. And I like that. And I know the book is not out yet, and I know it's highly anticipated. But I want to say, when last time I talked to you, I know that you've been through a lot. In that book, do you have a lot of things that you went through in a younger age, like with religion and so forth, all the way up? Because I know I talked to you and you share some things of your background, where you came from, and a lot of dark places that you went in your life that a lot of people don't know about. Do you put any of that in your book, or anything you
Oh, yeah.
even at all?
I'm putting everything that was challenging. I'm putting everything that is going to help people relate to it and see how they can transform their lives. So I'm not putting things that are not relatable, but instead I'm putting the things that were really dramatic in how I turn them around so that then other people can do the same. And by the way, the book is already available, just so you know. So they can come to victoriavives.com and then they can get it there.
Oh man, I'm trying to get I want my name in the book. That's why I didn't want to be.
Yeah, so you can get it now to have your name in the book. So this is the pre-launch. Well, it's the launch of the pre-order. So that means that the book is still not printed. That's why your name can be in it. And then in October, it will be sent. So it's available for purchasing and you can get your name on it.
Cool, cool. So, saying things, tell me some things without giving too much of your book or anything like that. Tell some things you would like to you would like to share with us about your experience. Because I know, for religion, well, what was your religion, and a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me some of that stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up in Spain and it was a dictatorship. So it was a very strict regime. And I grew up as a Christian. Um, so everything was very Christian Catholic. So everything was very, very strict and it was not free at all. So there was a lot of discrimination for anything that was out of the average. That's why I had so many problems being Black because there was no other people like me. So I grew up like that. But then as I had my, my own perspective a little more, my grandmother was very, very Catholic. My mom was a little more freestyle, and I always loved Jesus and everything and the Bible and all of that. At the same time, I feel that I like to have my own connection with it. I don't like when it becomes something limiting. Like, for example, I also love Buddhism. I feel that every religion, as long as it has the desire to bring goodness to the world, why not? So I feel that to me, when it becomes hard is when people start judging other people for not being in the same religion. I don't understand that. I think diversity is good and I like to learn from everything and be able to just be a good person, to have a good heart, have a good I don't know, perspective in life. How can I be a positive force? So I don't practice any organized religion. I have my own connection with the spirituality, and I like the idea of, how would I say, something that doesn't exclude, something that is inclusive, that can respect every person for how they have been in their lives. Different people was born in different religions, different perspectives, and all of them are needed because we are the one. We are like a diamond that has many facets. So if we say, no, this facet is not good, this one is not good, we only need this facet, then we're missing the whole point. We're missing the full picture. And that's why I feel that as long as the spiritual path doesn't judge others, I think it's great. Yeah.
That's amazing. I was just curious because I hear you keep saying about it's a little strange. It's kind of not strange, but from where you were at, I didn't I was a little shocked a little bit, not much, but you said something about race. I didn't think, it's kind of strange because in the country for you, and I know this is a good point, but far as race and religion, I know there's like two strikes against people of color. And it's kind of strange because in America, let me tell you from my experience a little bit, if you don't mind, me being a dark skinned man, it's kind of strange in this country. Female, your skin tone would be more accepted, some strange reason, than my
What?
skin color. And it's in America, and it's strange because even in amongst Black people, or when I was coming up, that my own people told me I should go back to Africa because Black people had self-hate against one another because of the darkness, because the way America made Black people seem to be somehow, that a lot of time, believe it or not, within the Black community, you got some light skin think they're better than dark skinned Black people, which is strange. And as you see people of lighter color, and in America a little different, they get a little accepted a little bit quicker in some, like in certain movie roles and certain
Oh.
beauty. And it's kind of strange and sad because at the end of the day, believe it or not, in this country, no matter if you're light skin, dark skin, the people who don't like us, people who don't like our color, they gonna treat us all the same. And it's just a little strange because that alone is strange because that's alone is an obstacle that we have to cross. And it's strange that that's something you will be an obstacle to cross in life. And then we have to learn how to love and accept ourselves despite just our color of our skin. And I understand, I believe there's beauty in all different colors. If you look at all animals and stuff, there's different animals, different dogs, different trees, different colored trees. Ain't nothing the same color. Everything is differently, but wonderful, beautifully made. All plants ain't the same. All trees ain't the same. All dogs ain't the same. All cats ain't. They all dogs and cats. There are different types of dogs, different types of cats. Why we can't be accepted as different types of people?
Yeah, I agree. And, I understand that here people might feel a little bit like discriminated. For me, coming here and see other people like me everywhere, it just already made me feel better. So I didn't really experience racism so much, but I think it's because of my own inner perspective, which changed. So I had some problems up to being maybe like 20 something, I don't remember exactly. And then after that, I felt pretty good. And I think that also, um, of course, it depends the circles we are in or the people, the neighborhood maybe or something. But I feel that um, I don't feel very judged about that. What I felt a little more judged lately was about, the work I do for healing, which was very surprising because I realized that some people in some religions think that healing is not a good thing. So that was a little shocking for me.
Well, I tell you what's about what you believe and what we believe, and people are growing is that in this country, religion is one thing. One of the major setbacks in this Christianity world, which is so over 1,000 different religions. And I'm
Hmm.
under a spiritual leader named Power Fu, and he taught me a lot because I have learned and grown by spirituality. I'm no longer part of any more dogma religion myself, and it holds you in a cloud of judgment, stress, and depressed, guilt, and it results no real solution to our everyday problems.
Hmm.
And one thing I learned from him and under the spiritual teachers, the first is to love out myself. That's one
Hmm.
thing a lot of people need to learn to love themselves. A lot of people want to be something they ain't, something they are, something they see on TV, something that most people really don't know truly who they are. And I think people try to use other things to identify themselves, whether it's money, uh, high athleticism, things that people have to find things to justify their purpose in existence. And
Hmm.
sometimes I think sometimes people start looking down. I think religion is one of them too. Some people, has been programmed to a certain religion. If you don't see it this way, something must be wrong with you. And for some of the stuff you do is that people do believe in healing, but they believe in healing a little bit differently. A lot of people don't think you can get healed with crystals thing in this society. The type of practice that you would do years ago consider it as evil and devil worshiping type of stuff. And I'm gonna just be real with you. So
Yeah.
I think your way of healing with crystals and stuff, they think this is like a quack or something crazy, and they're heard no such because it doesn't comply with their way of belief when it comes to healing.
Yeah, so for example, I feel it's depending on the person. Like I mean, I've been in churches in Spain and just hearing the priest, and it was wonderful, and they were uplifting and loving, and they really wanted to help people. And then I went to other churches that, they look down at you and things like that. So I think it's not about the religion itself. Like I think every religion has positive things, but if the person in that religion is just not as loving in their hearts and they're more judgmental or things like that, it becomes a little different. So it's like having a knife, right? You can have a knife and create beautiful art, carving some wood, or you can cut an apple or something, but you can also hurt somebody. So I feel it's depending on how we use it. If we use it discriminating others, then I don't think that is, I mean, to me, that's not something to look up to, like I don't want to become somebody like that. So I don't think that's a good path to follow.
Yeah, it is dependent on the person. Don't get me wrong. It is dependent on every individual. But there are some people in every religion who are open minded to other truths. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Exploration.
exactly,
There's a lot of
exactly,
them. But at
exactly.
the same time, what I'm saying is that when you've been programmed and conditioned a certain way, like I was, maybe 30 years ago, I would not accepted what you were doing. What I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I had to have an open mind to see things differently. And some people who are brought and groomed a certain way, they don't want to open up to other avenues of spiritual healings and of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it does depend on each individual. There are some good and bad in every religion. Like I said, there's a lot of good things in religion. There's a lot of bad things in religion as well. There's a lot of hypocrisy as well. But and then, like I said, some people sometimes people won't fit in and they'll go with the program. Sometimes there's people they know some things ain't right, but they're afraid to be open, accepted. You know,
Mm.
thing about when I was growing up in life, one thing about truth is that when you grow up and realize you've been taught many things that's not true, and you hang on to it, then you realize it ain't true. They be very hurtful sometimes to
Mm.
accept the lie you've been living, what you thought was true.
Mm.
Because some people see things on the one way, they're not open up. And if they do, sometimes it can be very hurtful, and sometimes they be in denial of what it is. And so, everybody different. Everybody goes through different things. But I understand what you're saying, though, is some people's not as pleasant and open to what you got to offer.
And there is the opposite too. Sometimes people has born with some ideas. I mean, has been born in a society or a family that has certain ideas, but then suddenly something happens in their lives and they totally switch. And then suddenly it's like, you know, um, their mind totally changes and they embrace in a very radical way religion. I did have somebody I worked with for a couple of things, a couple of projects, and then he suddenly thought that that chakras and everything about healing was terrible, and well, it was a very bad nightmare. But like he was so happy with chakras and writing about them and everything. We worked together, and then suddenly he said, no, this is from the devil. And I'm like, wow. So you never know. But anyway, it's a theme that I also don't want to give a lot of focus on. I feel that um, it's each person its way, and it's good to have diversity. So as long as we surround ourselves by people that we relate to.
Would you say?
And as long as we surround ourselves by people that we can relate to, so that we don't feel like we have somebody in our circles that judges us or things like that.
Yeah, that is important. It is important to surround your people who's on the same path and journey as you are, and that makes a big difference in
Yeah.
life. It keeps you focused and not bouncing all over the place. And speaking of things, now you have many talents, and I'm just curious, how do you with all these talents balance? I seen like you're like a comedian. You got a lot of different sides of it. It's just kind of strange. You got the nice part, then you got I can kick your butt part, then you got I can sing part, then you got I can act part, then you got so many different layers to you. how
Yeah.
do you how do you how do you switch? How does all this come together? How do you go from acting to singing? How do you balance your different
Yeah.
things?
Good question. So everything has been by following my passion. So when I was small, I loved music and I loved to sing and dance and all of that. But then I was very good at school. So I focused more on that. And my family, because we were in a poor neighborhood, like a ghetto-like neighborhood, they were, oh, you cannot do those things. So I kind of forgot about it, and I just loved to study. I was always excited to go to school and things like that. So I focused on that a lot. But then at 13, I had a breakup with my mom, which was very heartbreaking. So that kind of turned me in a different direction. So I changed from being like a very good girl into going with the bad guys.
Tell
So
some
that,
bad guys stuff. I want to hear it because you probably want to go back there, give everybody. Let people know what bad guys. Let you know you're human.
yeah, well, it was, it was because my heart was broken. So I was looking for some strength. I didn't understand it at that time, but my mom was very important for me. So suddenly, at the age of 13, when we are in adolescence, you know, we really need that support, but she wasn't there. So I went into, okay, I'm going to be as bad as I can, but I never been bad. So the only thing I could do is surround myself by bad people. So it was great. I learned a lot of things. All my friends would be on drugs and I wasn't. I was with my milkshake, you know, like, but it was very fun because I learned a lot of things. They were, you know, people sometimes with knives, with guns, with dealing drugs, all of this. I went into this kind of environment. So I feel it was a great adventure. It was very challenging and a lot of trauma came from it too. But all that I learned, it was such an adventure and such a teaching that, you know, not everybody has the possibility of going from one stream to another, you know, because now I'm in spirituality, so I'm surrounded by healers. But I know what it is to be in the other side, you know. I know what it is to be a bad person or a dark person, and I understand all of it. And thanks to that, I can make an educated decision to who I want to be, and at the same time, not being scared of certain people. So I think it is important, and to me, it was great. You know, it was hard many times. So I learned that bad guys are not going to be good for me. So thanks to that, I married a good guy. Yeah, so I'm 12 years married now, thank God. Um, so yeah, I learned the lesson, but at the same time, it helped me educating myself about something other than pure light. So I feel that that was very important. And at that time, I started working in television, doing runway, dancing, all of this. So for 20 years actually, I was making my living out of that, and it was great. It was great, and because they were paying me, and I had the ease to learn different things. So if they asked me to dance samba, I could dance it. If they asked me for belly dance, I could dance it. You know, maybe I wasn't the best, but I had something special, which was my ability to convey emotion. So I could dance, and my face will bring so much, and my movement will bring so much that they would hire me all the time. So because of that, I learned many different things about dancing, and then dancing into martial arts is kind of connected in some way because it's still physical. So all the ability that I had from dancing, I was able to transfer it into martial arts, just changing some things, of course, continuing training. Now I had weapons, sometimes like sword or bow staff, other things. So it was like an evolution. And yeah, what happened? Oh.
Nothing, I'm here.
Yeah, so everything to me is connected. I think my core is about conveying emotions. So whether it is I'm teaching a reading class, or I'm singing, or I'm doing martial arts, or I'm doing this interview with you, it's about, you know, some kind of contagious energy that makes you feel a little uplifted in some way. So I think that might be my core. And from that, the rest can emanate in some way, I think.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
I like you. Got high energy.
Yes.
You said so much. I'm trying to figure out my hands next. But I have heard your voice, and your voice is, I don't know how you sing like that. You have a way of singing. I didn't know one time I saw listen to video. I didn't know if that was you singing sounding like that. That was a
Oh,
recording. I couldn't tell the
oh.
difference. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The sacred frequencies?
You have a way of singing. You have a way of holding a tone that I couldn't tell.
Oh,
I thought it was. I didn't know if it was coming out your mouth like
oh.
that.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. You know, that started after my near-death experience, actually.
It do what?
Yeah, yeah. So I used to have my tone of voice, especially when I was going with all these bad people. You know, I tend to speak much lower tone, like really low. You know, and I would sing lower tone, like really low. And I can still do that. But when I had that switch, suddenly a little sound started coming up that was very high pitched. And I told to a singing teacher, and she said, no, that you cannot use it. And but I liked it, so I continued, and then I discovered it's called flute voice, which is similar to Mariah Carey's high pitch. So all of that are different versions of what is called flute voice. So yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. They check you out on YouTube. I'll make sure they put all your links, YouTube,
Oh,
Facebook, all on there. And
thank
anyway,
you.
anything you want to share about the book? Hold it up so everybody can see that picture of that book. Because I like the book. Because you
Thanks. Ching, ching, ching. The book. It looks better when I have it with me. Like on the screen, it doesn't look the same, but I think you get an idea, right?
yeah. Let's see the background. But yeah, anything you want to share in the book or no?
Oh yeah. You want me to share something about the book?
Yes, without giving out too much information. Yeah, of course. Why got the book in the
Yeah.
background if I ain't gonna share anything?
Yeah. Okay, so the book is, I always liked to write since I was small, and I used to write poetry. It really helped me so that when I was going through that time, the breakup with my mom and all of that, my heart was so broken. So poetry helped me a lot to, in some way, I don't know, release some of the pain in my heart. So I started writing then. I created some comics also, and I started writing a few novels, uh, but it never went to something big. And then I always wanted to write a book, always wanted to write a book, but it's a big project, and I have so many ideas that I didn't know how to put it all together. So I wrote some books for my students. I teach Reiki, sound healing, shamanism, crystal healing. So I wrote books for that, but it's just for people who comes to classes. So this time is the first time that I said, okay, I need to write something that is not just for people who wants to be in healing, but it needs to be for everybody. And it needs to help everybody so that they can improve their lives in some way. And then the idea came, okay, so let's do the autobiography, but in a way that is not just saying my life, but it is almost like a novel, almost, it's like a story, like exciting, because a lot of crazy things happen in my life.
Is it that crazy? You said
Yeah,
it like, y'all know what they, if people want to know all the crazy, they get the book.
yeah.
It would be really crazy the way you sounded.
So even the beginning is like, oh my goodness. So I'm focusing on all the crazy things that happen and how I was able to turn them around when they, like sometimes uh, risk of death or different crazy things. How I was able to turn that around so that then it became a blessing. And I feel that if people has this information, they are going to be able to not go down when things are going bad, because when we start spiraling down, then everything is over. Like it becomes really hard. It is important to honor our emotions, but we have to know also how to turn them around when needed. So I give a lot of examples about that and how we can look at our past and our present, and every challenge can be exciting. Like, oh, wow, okay, this is happening. This means that I have something amazing coming, because it's almost like life opens in such way that when a blessing comes, it comes disguised as a terrible drama, sometimes of trauma. But if we are able to look beyond that and we don't freak out, we are able to uncover the gift that comes behind it. And it works every time. Like, last time I had a big challenge, I got so excited. Like, I was a little sad, but at the same time, I was like, okay, good. This means that something good is there. What is it? Because what happens is that when we have a trauma, normally it's because we were unaware of something. So something was in the shadows, and something suddenly it affects us and it comes on our faces. So at that moment, we are able to say, oh, so this energy is here. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to take the gift that contains so that now I grow in my consciousness and in my ability of what I'm able to do. And that's what happens exactly. So last thing was that I was building a team, and I was very excited about it. It was very hard, but I was very excited. But things suddenly went like upside down, and suddenly the team was gone. You know, like people that I trusted with everything betrayed me, and it was terrible, you know, because it involved my community, which is something very dear to my heart. But I realized, you know, I'm not going to freak out. I'm going to take this to take my life to the next level. And it's exactly what has happened. Like something, some energy that wasn't really in alignment with what I was doing, now it's gone. So that means that I have a lot more energy to bring things into what I love. Does that make sense? Andrew, I'm wanting to make sure that this makes sense. And if you have any questions, please ask me. It's kind of hard. It's like doing alchemy with with life, you know. So I'm kind of abstract in my way of thinking and perceiving life. So putting it into words sometimes is a little challenging. And I want to make sure that you and your beautiful viewers and listeners can understand it. So please ask me everything that you feel is important.
No, I understand.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's my thing kind of acting up. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I understand pretty good.
To drink my chocolate milk. I didn't change that much since I was small. I love
You like chocolate milk? Can you hear me?
I love chocolate milk, and this one has bone broth in it, so it's really healthy. When I was small, the same. I just stayed the same. Like I don't drink alcohol or anything. I'm just like a kid. You see?
You know, you remind me of a big kid for some reason. I don't know why.
What you say? My
you
mom.
remind me of a young girl. You got a very young spirit. You like you're a teenager or something.
I feel like that, Andrew, many times.
Really? You feel that way? You feel like you're real young? You look young.
I feel like that, you know, and I have a lot of responsibilities because I teach mentorships. So I hold a group of students for a full year, whether I have several programs. So it's a lot of responsibility. I have a lot of work. Sometimes, you know, I have had years that I didn't sleep almost because it's that amount of work. So I have to many times get into that role of being really serious and really businesswoman. But other than that, I'm ready to play. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I saw a while back. I think I saw you some videos. You were just dancing in the stores or something like that.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And people are looking at you kind of strange.
I'm happy to do that. Yeah, I'm not very care. You know, I don't care about that for sure.
How old are you?
Oh, I don't say that because I love to keep a secret. But one day I might reveal it.
Are you older? Let me answer. I'm 42. Are you older or younger than me?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. You really don't review. Hey, listen, it don't matter. I don't care. It don't really matter though. I don't know. I don't know if you're older than me or not. But anyway,
I don't know how.
I know you don't look your age. I know that much. I don't remember how old you are, but you don't look nothing. You don't trust me. You don't look your age. I'm sure. I'm sure. And you got a lot of energy. I remember when I first time I wanted to interview you. It was hard to get you come to interview. It's like, I interview you. He said, how many followers you got? I said, I don't know. Cause I was just starting anyway. Cause right now I've learned, I used to worry about followers. Now I listen to some YouTube videos now. So I'm not worried about followers as much as I am about impact. And one guy was saying, he was concerned about followers. And he said, you know what? He said, when I first started, so I had to worry about, we on channels, so worry about followers. So no, he have a different mind concept. He said, what's the purpose of having a lot of followers if they don't really follow? He was saying, what about those few people that you have impact? And they impact somebody, So there's a lot of people you're impacted that you don't see the numbers of. Like, for instance, you got, let's just say, I don't know how many people you got. Let's say you have maybe, I'm just saying, like 50,000 followers. And like, you don't know how many people really actually you impact, because maybe about 10 of those people or 20 of those people, it really influenced. They really took it in and they went and shared it with someone, then somebody else shared it with someone, and someone else shared it with someone, and the passes on and trickle down. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of people impacted that you don't see the numbers of, and you took for granted. Because when you like the knowledge, like when your book, when people get your book and read it and it impacts them, they share the same information with someone else, and that person shared it something and that's keep passing on. So you're actually impacting more people than you think you are,
I
despite the
agree.
numbers. Despite the numbers
I
of what you
agree, and
see.
still, I agree, and still, if let's say that I sell 10,000 books,
Right.
and they impact 100,000 people. So if
Right.
I sell 100,000 people, maybe they inspire 1 million people. So
Maybe.
I'm all up for higher
Right.
higher
Maybe.
level.
But like I
Yeah.
said, when it comes to teaching, I know when it comes to like good
Uh-huh.
like spirituality and teaching, you will always have people who will follow to a certain extent, but like dedicated follow. You know what I'm talking about? Like really follow. You know what I'm saying? Kind of
Yeah.
like you teaching 20 people. Like you might have be. It's like I said, sometimes numbers ain't not necessarily mean you'll get the results you need. Because like I said, sometimes maybe about 100 people, maybe like actually 10 or 15 people are actually serious about what you're teaching. You know where I'm coming from? It
Yeah, I
may pass
totally
them to a
understand
certain
what you
extent, but
say.
not fully. Everybody take it so far. And so the people who it's like even when you teach to somebody, you can have 100 people, maybe only 5 or 6 people actually get it or even do anything with it. Sometimes you know what I'm
I,
saying? And those are
I,
numbers that I say it don't count, it helps, but I'm saying those are numbers that really counts the impact, despite just having a large quantity. It's like quality over quantity, so to speak, like that.
I believe in both. I
Right.
believe in both quality and quantity. And
I
I
like
feel
both
it's
too.
important. I think it is important to develop a relationship.
Right.
So I do my best to always answer, instead, like sometimes maybe you contact somebody and they don't even answer. So I do my best to always answer each person that contacts me. Sometimes it's a lot, but I do my best to keep a relationship as real as possible. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to start making like some kind of potlucks in different cities? So then I thought, oh, maybe I can do like a book tour so that I can meet in person with the people and that I met online. That would be beautiful. Doing something like
Yeah, it'd be nice if you're trying to promote your book. If you want to go to different places to promote your book, that'd be nice to interact with people and
that. Yeah.
sign. Because some people you come to their city and do it. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to do that because here in Los Angeles, I have my community. So I don't know how many people, but let's say about 30 people maybe that I see on a regular basis. So it creates a beautiful feeling to know that we have like-minded ideas, so imagine to be able to expand that instead to just be a picture on Facebook that we see each other. Instead of that, having an actual relationship and meet in person, I think takes things to a different level.
it always does meeting people in person and different. There's a different experience seeing people face to face. When I tell people, say it's good talking on the phone and the internet, but it's a whole different energy when we see somebody face to face. It's a whole different
Yeah.
feel. And I tell them I can't explain it. Said social media got people spoiled texting and talking on, even on video, but face to face encounter is always you can feel the energy between, the energy between the people. You can relate to them a bit better than you do talking on the phone. It's just a different energy when you see people in person than you do just through a video camera or on internet. And people don't forget the value, how important it is to actually see somebody face to face sometimes. Okay,
Yeah.
everybody's so attached to their phones and stuff like that, and you could be anybody on camera and behind the thing if you don't see nobody face to face. But you see people face to face, you can read the energy, you can read their body language. You know what I'm saying? Just a little different.
Even right now, like how long have you and I been talking over email or message, right? But this is the first time that we actually see each other like this, right?
Right. This is the
It's a
next
big
step.
difference to
A little
actually
different.
speak in real time, see each other in real time. It makes a difference. So then the next level for sure in person.
Right, because this is I like this better. It's a good level right here from being distance and states away. It's
Yeah,
pretty. It's not bad though, but it's
it's
good
really
to see
good.
person.
And the
Yeah, I like.
quality of the image is pretty good, huh? I'm very impressed.
I'm impressed because, like I said, I didn't know what to expect when I first talked to you. I didn't know because you were doing so much, and and believe it or not, you actually you're an everyday person, but you have a lot of things that people just don't know that you got going on. I mean, even though you're a regular person, you've been on some major platforms.
Yes,
You've been in magazines,
yeah.
commercials, and a lot of
Uh,
things people don't know. A lot of people don't know you did commercials and magazines. You did a lot of things in your life, accomplishments that no one knows about. And I don't
yes.
know how many magazines you've been in or how many commercials you have done that we ain't even talked about.
Yeah, so I've been in Rolling Stone, I've been in Vogue, I've been in many magazines, especially in Spain. So in Spain, I would walk in the street and they would recognize me because I was in mainstream television. So because of that, I mean, I was always there.
I think
So
you gave me a picture of your well, I think you gave me a picture, a poster or something that you had in Spain. I think you did. I think you did
maybe,
give me.
maybe, yeah. I showed on the cover of magazines. Yeah, so I did that a lot, especially in Spain. Here I did a lot too, but there, the industry is different. So because I'm from there, it was really powerful. Yeah,
You liked it pretty much in the past, or was it a little
everything.
different?
I love that because, for me, it was just a dream come true. They taught me to dance and then they paid me for it. And then I got to meet people like Alicia Keys, Puff Daddy, Robbie Williams, Celia Cruz,
Snoop Dogg.
yeah, yeah, Snoop Dogg. So that was here actually in the US. I work with 50 Cent here in the US too. So I work with a lot of people that is like, oh wow, and some of them are very nice. Like Diana Rose is amazing. She was one of the nicest people I met. And she was always like talking with me, very nice. And you sometimes don't know when people is so famous. Sometimes you don't know how they're going to act. But sometimes the biggest people can be really kind and humble, actually.
They have to be. Look how high they are. You got to be humble when you go up, though, for real. The way
Yeah.
things looking now, you can fall down real quick. The way the Me Too movement, all this other crazy stuff going on. Man, I'm serious. People
Yeah,
got
I
people
mean,
got their careers taken for no reason. That's some innocent people got their career taken behind Me Too just for people lying on them.
yeah, that's the ideal. But then there is other people that I met that really, like Roy Williams. I didn't really feel that he was especially kind. Like I spoke when I performed with him in the MTV Europe Music Awards. Puff Daddy or Alicia Keys were much more, I don't know, kind to me, I feel.
Really, I think Robert Williams. No offense, I think the man, for instance, Robert Williams. I think he has some. Obviously, no offense. I think he probably had some type of disorder. It's almost like he had split personalities or something, or the
I
way he
think he
act.
has had some emotional challenges, so I
Yeah,
can understand. It's not that easy. I mean, I've been in that position when once again people recognize me in the street and they want pictures with me and an autograph and all of that. And at that time, it was challenging for me. I didn't take it as well as later on. When I started with my music, I think I learned how important it is to keep that connection. But in the beginning, I wasn't so forthcoming. So I can relate to, sometimes if you are in a position where everybody's looking at you, but you are suffering a lot in your personal life, it can become challenging. And at that time is what was happening. I was with the bad guys, but then showing in television really nice. So when somebody would come to me, I was just not as pleasant as I could have been. I learned now, that that's not a good thing. And however I am, I can be crying, I can be mad, but when somebody comes to me for what I'm offering, I have to be at my best. Yeah.
wow.
So
That's
what? It's about leaving the ego behind and saying, okay, I'm here to bring something, a message, and my ego has to just go to the side.
Oh, I'm finna get real. I'm finna get real strange with you now. I'm finna get real strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm finna get real strange because I'm gonna tell you why. The reason I say strange, not strange to me, but it's gonna be a little strange to the audience. A lot of
Oh,
the audience, because I know that you do talk to um, people or entities the average people can't see. I know you don't really talk about it, but
um,
my
well,
channel's a little different. I want you to share some things.
yeah, I see it differently. Like for example, if somebody says, "Hey, can you do mediumship so that I can talk with my grandmother?" I don't really do that. So everything that I do is based on healing. So if I'm giving a session, a shamanic session, and the mother or the grandmother or somebody that has passed away give me a message, yeah, I pass it, but I don't make it a point for me to say, okay, I'm going to connect with your loved one that is in the other side to give you messages. So I don't do that. My focus is healing, and healing can be through sharing with you something intellectually, to sharing some physical exercise, to sharing something about changing your diet, to speaking to that person in the other side. So it doesn't, to me, is not uh, something that is the end result as much as it is a means to an end. Does that make sense? So I might do that because it shows up, but my goal is how can I help somebody, whether it is with something really physical or really non-physical. Yeah.
I was just curious. I want to bring it up anyway because that's one of the gifts and talents that you do have. A lot of people don't know about. A lot of people, some people have it. They don't share it. They don't talk about it. It's just normal. To you is it's normal. To the other people, it's like what That's why I say a little weird, not weird. It's not weird to me. Might have been years ago, but not longer all that weird to me. But no, some people eat different things. Um,
And
about
everybody, I feel that everybody could have that ability. It's just that we kind of specialize. So we tend to optimize our brains and our filters so that we are really good at something that helps us moving forward in the lifestyle that we have chosen. So everybody has the potential. It's just what are you focusing upon? So we need to make sure that um, our system naturally makes sure that we are focused and optimized to do the things that we need to do. And because of that, some functions are turned off. Are you familiar with epigenetics?
no,
Okay, so epigenetics is the idea that our genes actually can be turned on or off. So depending on what we do, what we are exposed to, and different things that we do, we actually change the genetics. And this change in genetics is passed down to the next generation, to our children. So that means that we have all this potential, but depending on the kind of life that we follow and the habits that we have, the people that we surround ourselves by, the environment we are in, all of that is going to be part of turning on and off certain genes. So I think that it's because of that that I have been able to learn so many different things, because I kind of switch things by surrounding myself by the people that already know those things, and kind of embodying that kind of energy, and then also keeping myself in environments that are going to help me achieving what I want. So that's one of the reasons why I moved to the US. And once again, this might be kind of abstract, or so if something is not clear, please let me know. You're very silent, so I don't
I'm
know.
very. I'm just listening. I understand. Man, I personally understand where you're coming from. I don't know what the viewers. I don't know what the listeners, other people may understand, and I do understand where you're coming from.
Well, check this out.
I understand. I understand that in order to strengthen certain gifts and the abilities, you must put yourself in this environment where it's more, where it can be strengthened and not be weakened. But based on society, there's a lot of things we have not been taught, so it's not being used. So you have to learn how to activate it and keep it activated. But in order to do that, you must
Yeah.
surround yourself in an environment where it can be strengthened and grow and produce around certain people, certain energies. If you don't, it go die, or you then go get activated, and then you go get distracted and not focus on other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I mentor people, because and now I started mentoring people that is not in Los Angeles actually. So what I do is over the phone. I started mentoring people who wants to achieve something, mostly for business and for wealth,
Mhm.
but for other things as well. So I just feel that that's the way to really change things, to have somebody, whether it is a mentor, a group, something to help us achieving the things that we want so that we can become positive forces in the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I understand. I understand you quite. I understand you pretty well. You know, and I know you kind of concerned. Like you understand me
Uh-huh.
because you have a way of trying to explain things a little different. But
No, it seems that you really understood what I said. So I am
I
happy.
understand. I understand. But I know some people. I know you concerned because like some people like with your accent and stuff. That some people might like, what she saying? What she talking about? I don't understand. Yeah, and you try to figure it out. You know, because some people have a hard time understanding certain people where they break down things. You have a unique way of saying things that's different because you try to explain it and say it where they can understand it, and sometimes you wonder, I don't think I understand what I'm saying. Like I understand what you're saying, kind of
Uh-huh.
coming from.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not just the accent or the choice of words, but also sometimes I feel that maybe my way of thinking is a little abstract. So when I speak with my husband, many times I have to have him ask me questions. So because he's more intellectual and I'm more like emotional and spiritual. So when we communicate, many times we have to kind of ask each other questions so that it's clear. So that's why I always want to make sure, is this clear? Is this clear? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's clear to me. It may not be clear to other people. Everybody take information different. I don't know if it's clear to whoever listening. I understand.
They can put some questions here and just let me know and I will be happy to answer.
Yeah, when I post this up on YouTube and when I post up on YouTube, maybe they'll leave some comments if they watch. If they have questions, y'all can write some comments
And
on the
say
YouTube
hi
channel.
and things, and I will take it and answer you guys.
so so yeah, so most definitely. And wow, we talk about so much. And I really don't want to over talk you because like I don't know, some people say, well, you do interviews. Your interview is too long. I said, well, it all depends what you're looking for. It mean everybody like when people are searching for certain information, some people have a low talents when it comes to education stuff. But like if a person watching a movie, they can watch a movie for 2 whole hours, hour and 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And they'll tune in. But when it comes to something spiritual and education, it's like some people going to take so much before, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Before they get
Yeah, I think
distracted.
how long it has been so far?
I don't know. It's been on for a while. Hold on. Been on
I
for a
don't
while.
know.
About an hour, I think. I believe it's
Okay,
about an
so
hour.
maybe we should complete it. So
Yes.
that, yeah.
Viewers, we finna end this broadcast.
Yeah.
I know it's been about an hour on the dot. Yeah. So
We don't
it's
want
been
to
about
make
an
it
hour.
too long.
Right. It's long enough. They get information. If y'all have any more information, any questions, well, not information, but y'all have any questions about what y'all see, leave some comments in the description, not description below. Leave comments in the YouTube channel or podcast. You can leave a message or comment. But yes, this is Victoria Vives, and check her book out in a matter of seconds about her extraordinary life and transformation. And you also look in the description box and look at her websites, and I give a link to get to her book and to other social media sites as well. So, yes, and I want to thank you and thank the audience who listening or tune into this YouTube channel or listen to it on the podcast. And it's been a pleasure to have you, Miss Victoria Vives. And thank you. And everybody have a great day.
Bye.
Bye bye.